Welcome, bow betters. Let's see if this works this time, people. Let's see how this is going to work out. Welcome to MMA Sip and Smoke, where we review fine cigars and talk about MMA. Today, we are going to review Luciano's Maria Lucia cigar. Really beautiful looking cigar. Before we go any further, let me just make certain that we are indeed live. Get the chat going up here. One moment, people. Welcome, bow betters. Okay. It's set up a completely different stream. Okay, I am broadcasting. I got the chat window opened up. My music is going, my theme music. Yeah, so today we're gonna be smoking Luciano's Maria Lucia cigar. Really beautiful looking cigar. And always, people, I do this off the cuff. I do it naked. I don't go and find out the composition or what the cigar is made of in terms of wrapper binder and filler. We'll get that information to you a little bit later in the video, but I like to start off by not really getting any notes or impressions from others on the cigar, so I could just give you my raw review. But welcome, bow betters. Welcome to MMA Sip and Smoke. I'll have to erase the other one, but welcome. The world is in shock. We have a new president, or new old president, old new president, and Donald Trump. We don't need to talk about politics here on that, but how is that going to affect the cigar world? Well, I think you might see less restrictions now on certain areas in the cigar world, in certain aspects of the manufacturing of cigars. That might change. I don't think the age or anything else would change, but maybe there will be some growth in cigar manufacturing here in the United States. I know that's a challenge for some, considering how expensive water, how expensive farming is, period. That's why a lot of the cigar industry here has just dissipated or died. But yeah, welcome, bow batters. Welcome to MMA Sip and Smoke. It's been interesting on the gambling side, but before we talk about any gambling, let's get to the cigar. Let's get to the smoking. That's an important part of the what we're doing here, right? That's what you're here for. You're here for the smoke. And as I mentioned, see how I have these lined in cedar, right? I keep all the cedar liners from my tubos or wherever I can get them, and I put all my cigars to smoke in these cedars where I separate them and put them in the cedar. As you can see, look how beautiful that label is right there. If you can't figure it out, it's a flowered woman, right? Beautiful color. I love that color. It's pretty. Oh, watch check. The Timex that is a cheap chrono. It was like $40. The chrono function doesn't work anymore, but it's still like a nice white faced dial. My mother noticed it today. I was very happy about that. She seemed to notice it, which was pretty cool. Made me happy that she noticed it. She liked it. I think it's just because of the yellow color, right? And the yellow color is matching the shirt. That's why I put the yellow watch band. I don't get to use this watch band too often because I don't like yellow or wear yellow. But this is a secondhand shirt that I got at the resale store. Like from the, what do you call the resale? It's not the vintage shop, but it's just the value village. Like used clothing from who knows what era. So I got that going. But yeah, the Maria Lucia cigar. We're gonna get to cutting this thing, man. We're gonna cut this thing, baby. It's pretty chilly out here already in Chicago. Ooh, look at that. Look how beautiful color. It's hard that this camera doesn't do it justice because it's in the light. Oh man, what a nice aroma. Handmade since 1957. Luciano Cigars. Yeah, I miss going to that event. I'm a little better on the nose today than I was last week or last time we were together doing these. Ooh, this little, it's got plastic over the base ribbon, but it's still coming off. Don't force it, get a little pinch from all sides, a little one side, then go to the next side. Yeah, they didn't glue it. They have a little piece of almost like tape. They didn't use like a food glue. It's like a piece of tape. I don't like that. It was able to come off, but I don't like that at all. the things that I don't like. I like this coat. This is a vintage coat, secondhand, secondhand coat, man. Sometimes you get lucky, man. Full coat, 3/4. Right. It's got nice pockets on the inside. It's got a pocket for a gun. It does. It literally does have like a little holster on the inside that, like, you put the gun in there, and then it has a little, a little button that you put over the gun. So that was my favorite feature of this coat here, is that it's actually made to like carry. And so I love fall. It's like you could friggin', you don't have to carry inside the waistband. You could carry, a holster with a jacket like this. I could wear an outside the waistband holster as long as I got the jacket on, and then I could just put a, gun in my pocket, my coat pocket, if I wanted to. So I like that as well. So one of the nice things about fall is wearing coats and being able to, if you want to carry, carry in your coat, man. Classic looking, looking gangster. I'm not a gangster, never been a gangster. Know a lot of them. So beat the hell out of some gangsters. But yeah, welcome, bout betters. Really nice soft earth tone. No peppers. It's a really beautiful fragrance. Really just a nice, soft, lovely cigar. I'm gonna remember the technique where we just spin, right? We get the little bit of the cap, right? Little stop the cap. You're not cutting, spin, and then cut. Ooh, I didn't get much of it. That's still probably enough. Yeah, that's gonna do it. That's gonna give me a draw. It doesn't have to be so, got barely like 3/4 of the cap. That's enough to. That is nice. Wow. It's like a toasted nut. It's hard for me to get a keen or a real. I have to light it up, but very nice, subtle tobacco. And it has more of a traditional, almost not quite pipe tobacco, but it has. Man, it has an interesting thing there. But we're gonna flavor this up. Welcome, bout betters. Welcome. How's your betting been? Let me know. Let me know in the comments or in the chats, people. I look all fat, but I am fat. Kicking back here. It's better if I sit up, isn't it? In a rocking chair, but it is better if I sit up, right? Sit up and sit close to the camera here. It got colder, people. It's nice to have a coat on. I need some earmuffs for myself. So when I wear this coat and wear this old hat, another vintage hat. You know where I got this hat? I got it off the street. It was all dirty and wet, beat up. I literally washed it, which is not supposed to do. Washed it, and of course it probably destroyed the liner that's in there, but it was already a dead hat anyways, and dried up, and it looks like this now. I've had it for like, I want to say 15, 20 years, a long time. I found some other hats that I wear that I found in the street. Yeah, this lighter, these torches, you can't deny their effectiveness. Looks like an excellent rolled cigar. I could tell already that it's just tightly packed, really nice box pressed. I could tell how layered it is. It looks very uniform. Yeah, this thing's lit, man. It's lit. It has there is a little subtle spice. It's just very, A lot more barn character. Not a ton of oil. A light spice. It's funny that I'm wearing the leather coat because it's more leathery, more leather than pastoral. Very smoky finish. Very smoky finish. Yeah, I get more of that barn, like that cedar with leather, sort of a creamier leather, like a smoothness to it. Great construction, great draw. It's not knocking me out though. It's not like so definitive, and it doesn't have a flavor note that is just making me like, oh man, this thing is sick. Right out the gate, it's hard for me to. I mean, it's a smoke, good smoke. It's a smoke, but it doesn't have a note that's like really resoundingly strong to me. Beautiful label though. That label is embossed. Beautiful. Look at that thing. Look at that label. Beautiful. Well done. It has a very unique finish. The finish has that barn quality, and it does remind me a little of that Dunbarton, the Star series. It reminds me a little of that pipe tobacco. Of what's that? What's the pipe tobacco? What's that one blend that has a little more peat to it? Like it has more peat. So it's peat or charcoal, sort of as a finish. Which I don't mind. Should I smoke a pipe? I've been looking at old Dunhill pipes on eBay, see if I'd pick one up. And I'm just holding off on trying to find the right color, the ones in the right condition, and it's so hard to tell in online that I almost rather like go to a swap meet or you know not necessarily buy a new one, but just to see it, like to see its condition, have a better understanding of like what the pipe's been through, what's been smoked in it, right, and the actual condition of the pipe. And mind you, you could get some Dunhills, they still can get up there into the hundreds of dollars, even not thousands. But you could get some older Dunhill pipes for like under $100 or even $100. You get a really nice pipe for like $100, something that used to sell for like 400, 500 when it was new. You can get one now for like $100. Just beautifully made woods. Yeah, the finish. It it, it's just not a flavor. I can't say it isn't flavorful. It just doesn't have any of the citrus or veggie notes that I tend to like as well, right? It doesn't have a sweet note to it at all. Something that is more of a, like the last cigar that I had that I said, oh, it reminded me of not a flan or that needed a flan or like a tiramisu, right? Like it had a really nice vanilla, chocolatey sort of desire to be complemented with, where this is definitely that smoke with smoke, that single malt with single malt, right? This has that peat character, that sort of peaty finish, which is a little sharp earth, but just different. Not really the earth I look for. I'm more that jungle rather than that peat. Although like maybe even with the white wine, Like this one, believe it or not, with a white wine, a certain Chardonnay that has more of that peat quality or character would go well, or something completely different of contrast, like a brandy or a cognac. But I would stick to, like, this is, if you like single malts, this might be something for you. If you like that peaty type of single malt that is more smoke than sweetness, this is going to be your type of cigar. What a draw you get on this thing. Yeah, and it's all in the finish in this cigar. The first and second note, there's almost nothing there. But once you finish your draw and you're exhaling, that flavor, that peat comes out. That earth peat is very pungent. It hits strong, right? It hits you right there. It's still nice to smoke a cigar, though. We're getting in that weather. Like I said, it's not cold like snow out here. I'll be out here in the snow smoking. I think I've had live videos in the snow. We're not done, we're not done. We'll smoke year round. We'll do sip and smokes year round, and it would be nice to be indoors, but maybe I'll do a little like visit. There's a couple cigar lounges that I haven't visited here in Chicago that I might check out. I didn't do that this week because I went online after watching a guy on YouTube. He turned me on to Nomad cigars, and I'd never had those. And then I went online. I didn't see them. I don't know if my local guy, did it, but it was late in the night anyways, and I ended up like spending some money on the website there and buying some cigars that I really didn't need. But I just on everything special that they have is sold out. So just to get the gauge of what they make, almost like the cigar I had last week, where I said like, okay, I didn't like that particular cigar, the Arguello, which I forget which one it was, but that brand, now that company, I'll check out their other stuff, right? And that's what I'm going to do with Nomad. I bought some of their stock stuff, and then they have a deal on their sampler that has like mix and matches of various blends that are just blends, which I found very interesting. That some of them are unique, right? That they just were testing blends and they rolled certain cigars, and some that made it to production and some didn't. And it's a box of just blends, or 5 blends. So I bought a package of those, and a package, I believe, of the Sumatran that they make, and I love Sumatran tobacco, so I'm gonna give it a go. And then I have a long list, because this guy had some really, really good cigars, and it seemed to have a very similar palette set, or like cigars similar to what I like, with the exception of his Arturo Fuente collection was just ridiculous. I'm like, I agreed with him on his second video, where for the price of some of those Arturo Fuente cigars, you can find other cigars half the price, right, that you would enjoy just as much, right, that taste just as good for half the price. Like, that's that Arturo, the Opus X, and some of the Arturo Fuente lines, where you could just get the basic, like, I'm happy with the Chateau Fuentes and the 858s, right? Like, just the basic Fuente tobacco is pretty damn good. And it's actually a good value for what it is, because then you age it yourself. It isn't the premium aged stuff, but you could buy some of the regular Chateau Cedar Wrap, which is a fantastic cigar, in a Maduro or in the Habano wrapper, and just sit on them. Sit on them for a few years. It could be fantastic. Man, the draw on this is fantastic, man. Fantastic draw. And yeah, it's all finish. The finishes has that peat, strong earth. Initially, I thought it had a little spice, almost like a cinnamon or a nutmeg character. But now, if I had to place that spice, I would say it's neither nutmeg or cinnamon. It has a slight cumin um, character to it, right? Yeah, like very cumin, man. Yeah, and I'm not a big fan of cumin. I don't mind curry. I'm not a big fan of cumin. A little cumin's okay, right? I like to throw some of it in my, like even in a burger, I could throw a little cumin in there. A little chili, you got to have a little cumin. Certain Mexican food as well will have slight cumin, right? I don't mind it in certain things, but I'm not a big cumin guy. Unfortunately, for me, because I do not taste its complexity, and that's just me. It's not to say that it's not a bad cigar. It's just not going to get a big rating for me. I'm going to have to start it off at like a 7.5, right? I mean, it's a good cigar, I could tell, but it just doesn't have that layeredness to it, the complexity that I like. And for me, from what I enjoy in smokes, it just isn't the flavor set that I enjoy or I look for, right? As you guys already know, I'm looking for more of that jungle, heavy oils, richness, plantain, slight sweetness, that more pastoral, that more farm, rather than barn taste. And this has more of that barn sort of quality. It's like a strong earthy finish of peat, charcoal. Woo! But welcome, bow petters. Yeah, so now I gave my particular review. I gave it a little rating. Let's go and find out, and I'll read to you what this cigar is actually made of. All right, the construction of the Maria Luciano Conazo is immaculate, showcasing the expertise and attention to detail of its creators. Box press boasts a seamless flawless wrapper with a consistent, doesn't it say? High quality, firm to the top. Okay, there it is. Luciano Mireles. And it doesn't say what the construction is. No, this is from some other. Whoa. Apparently, it's people have wrote a lot of things on this. I don't want to see. Yeah, it looks like it's all just reviews. Yeah, this one's a limited edition, and it's just in one size. It's a Connecticut broadleaf, 2 binders from Ecuador, 1 grown from Sumatra seed in Havana, and the filler is a blend of Nicaragua and the Dominican Republic and Peru. So it has like elements that I really, really should enjoy and like, and it just doesn't kick to me. It's in that $13 range. Maybe it'll change, of course. We're just on the beginning, right? But very interesting. I love the broadleaves, right? And I love Sumatran as well as Ecuadorian tobacco, and of course stuff from Nicaragua, Dominican Republic, and Peru. Very, very interesting. Hey, cigars, it's like a song or a band sometimes, right? Like or, like a wine or certain ones you're not going to, it's not going to resonate with you. And this one, just for me, it's 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 a good smoke, but again, it isn't knocking my feet off. It's not something where I'm like, oh, I must have a box of them, especially for something that's exclusive. I like the idea of the blend. The blend sounds fantastic. On paper, the blend is like kick ass, right? That should produce like a very complex flavor set. But again, I'm getting more just leather that with peat, right? Like the leather to peat, and that's it. There's nothing on the start, and there's nothing in the middle. It's really just at the end, that leather and peat coming together, and that's what it is for me with that hint more of cumin. It's light on the nose, and again, it has that like strong peat finish, that leather to peat, right? So it's got great aromatics. Just like I said, just not knocking my socks off. That's okay. Occasionally we come across a cigar that is not going to be in our palate set, and that's why we try them out and you give it a go. Let me know what you guys think of this cigar. It's going to change, right? We're not even at the halfway point, so maybe there's something else that changes. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of it in the comments section. What your experience has been. What you guys think of it. I don't know if this thing. I don't think it would benefit from aging. It already tastes very mellow and smooth, right? I don't know what if aging would help it at all. Yeah, strong earthy leather, peat to cumin. Yep, that's what I got, man. And like I said, I'm not a big fan of like cumin, and I don't mind like the peat as much. I don't mind that kind of smoke. I like it a little peat and citrus, like in a nice Chardonnay or in a Pinot Grigio that might have a little hint of peat in it. I don't mind it all. I don't mind it also in certain single malts that might have that little flavor note. I don't mind it at all. But it just has to be complemented in the right way. Maybe this cigar, the blend itself, is not married well, so maybe some aging might help it, but I'm not keen. I don't think it would. I think it's smooth enough already. I don't taste any sharpness, any ammonias, nothing offensive, and I don't have a hint of where sweetness can be generated or even oils to be generated. It doesn't seem like it has that for me. I don't taste any of that on the palate. No oils whatsoever, and I don't like that as well. I like a lathery cigar that's gonna like really coat and not overwhelm per se, but really, yeah, just coat the palate on the upper palate is a lot. I like that. My tongue and upper palate, like almost licking the flavor off the top of my mouth. I enjoy doing that. I do that now with this cigar, but it just isn't. Nothing's coming of it, right? It's not like a nice flavor. It's not a flavor that I'm like, oh wow, look at that. That's fantastic. But it smokes really nice. Fantastic draw. Great, great. You get a lot of smoke in it, right? When you draw this thing, you're getting a lot of smoke. It just has just the flavor set isn't there for me. It's a little old school. It's got more of that old school style, even though it's like a short production cigar, limited edition. I'm just not feeling it. I gave it what a 7.5, and I think I'm going to stick there for now. And we'll see if that changes. We'll still smoke it to the nub. We're out here for a while. You know me. I always will stick here. Hopefully somebody does come into the chat wanting to talk cigars or MMA. I mean, what is? Let's go. Let's look at what the fight is coming up right now. How about fucking Taporia, man? That dude is a monster. What does Taporia do? I mean, knocking out Max Holloway. Nobody's ever fucking annihilated Max Holloway. And what's next for Max Holloway? Man, if he would have won, I would have said, hey, just retire, brother. Oh, yeah, this new Magny Carlos Pirates fight. Man, Pirates going to knock Magny out. That dude just knocks people out. He's just being set up for it. And this next card is not so good at all. At all. Gerald Meerschaert versus Rene de Riddler. What's the point of that? Ricky Turcos versus Bernardo Sochi. Man, there's nobody on this card that's, you know. Even Jillian Robertson, I think she's better look out against Luana Pinedo. Pinedo's not so bad. Yeah, this card is garbage. I mean, they have Neil Magny at the top of it, playing gatekeeper. This guy, Carlos Pirates is a beast, but I think his number is way too high. And I hunch up in my coat. This thing about the coat, but we're outdoors and it is chilly, so I'm glad I'm wearing the fucking coat. I'm glad. Welcome, bow putters. Luciano. Maria Lucia. Maria Lucia. Yeah, beautiful band. Beautiful looking box. I love the colorway. It looks just really beautiful. Even the cigar, I was excited about the cigar. I was like, Luciano, man, they had that underrated. It was sick. It was such a good smoke. And then, you know, the band, I mean, the leaf on this cigar, like in person, looks so rich, so luscious. I was like so excited. And then now, right? So I'd rather get some more of the underrateds as opposed to this Maria Lucia, but you know, everyone's a little different, right? We're going to try out some of those Nomad cigars when they come in. I have 2 more cigars from the last 8 or 5 that I got to do reviews on. We'll do some reviews. I still have a Stillwell Star, one of the Dunbarton Stillwell Stars, I believe number 23, as well as the Pomodoro 10-year Connecticut to share with you guys, and we'll be sharing those in the near future. I'll give you my review on those coming up in the next. Even maybe I'll do another live stream tomorrow. Yeah, I like doing the short pieces on the cigars. Yes, those are good. They don't actually take me that long. I'm still sitting and smoking the cigar anyways, but it's sometimes like it's nice to have some interaction with people, which I don't have right now. It's nice to have somebody in the chat discussing cigars, and I always yearn for that. Always hope that someone could join me. I just need to be consistent on the day that I do it, and go from there. But there you go. Ooh, 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 ooh. Didn't notice the ash hitting my coat. It's all right. It's all right. It survived. I need some leather treated. This nice leather on this coat. Can't be getting burnt in the holes and stuff. I think you're more dangerous with your polyester suits. Leather should be a little more durable for that ash to. It looked funny. I just saw myself on camera when the ash actually hit. Yeah, I have another jacket that I actually bought That I might actually make a review for that because I wasn't able to post something onto their website where I was a little disappointed with a couple elements of the jacket that I bought for a couple $100. It should have had a little better construction. There are elements that should have been had a little bit more attention to detail and better quality on. So it's just disappointing, but I didn't return it because I love the color. I forgot what they call it, but it's a pink jacket. I could wear pink. I wear pink. I wear pink shirts. I wear pink jackets. It might be getting no. Actually, I could still wear it these days when it's before the rains and the cold. It's completely cold. I could still wear it at this time. Although I'm liking this leather. Even on a night like this, or it gets even colder, it's beefy. Like I said, it's got this pocket to carry a phone or a weapon. I think it was designed maybe for the old cell phones, back when cell phones were like a Nokia. I don't know if you guys remember that, where a cell phone looked more like this, but a little longer. And this was a cell phone, so that it just was a wider block or a little brick, right? It wasn't like, think of this size but compressed in half, and it would be twice as thick, right? Like just think of this, cut it in half, put it together, and add another slice to it, and that's like the phone of the past, right? Like it was cellular phone, but it didn't have a screen. It just had the touch numbers, and you could share like some images, and had a very small screen, but the LCD screen was teeny, and then it just little by little it just became all screen, all touch screen, which is insane. God bless technology. Like people make movies off their phones nowadays. You have conferences. You could monitor your heart rate on the damn things. You could monitor your steps, right? You could monitor your health on the phone nowadays. There are elements. There's so much you could do with it. It's just amazing. Like beyond just the communication, but just like productivity in various fields. Like there are people that could open up chat, certain chats and do like coding from their phone. You could like start coding and doing other things from their phone. Create apps basically on your phone. Make your own game. You don't need a computer. You can write it on the phone yourself. There we go. There's another little flavor set. There we go. I knew that would happen. Sometimes you gotta, like a wine takes its time to breathe. A cigar is gonna change in the middle. We're at that middle, and now it has another set there. It's like a leather with a little more unripe plantain, right? It has that unripeness to it. A very, not quite green, but like this more of this, I want to say dry. I don't know if you guys have had green plantain before. It's almost more potato-like to an extent. Dare I say that? Not quite potato, but if you have had green plantain before, you would know what I'm talking about, right? Especially if you had it, even if you had the boiled one, the boiled like green banana, like it has a hint of that. Yeah, it has a hint of that. I'm glad that the cumin note is sort of dissipated. I'm glad also that it's also having a little bit more of that pastoral quality now than the barn, right? Maybe it just took some time for the cigar to heat up, and it's changed a lot. At the middle stage, it is night and day. It's like a completely different cigar. Little finishing still strong with that peat. That leathery peat is the finish. Still very strong. And it's starting to get a first note now too, which is great. But it's so disappointing to me that, I like that instant flavor, right? I like getting some complexity from the start. I don't want to wait till my halfway through the cigar for it to have complexity, right? I want to taste the complexity out the gate, right? I want to have a full story or part of a story in the beginning, right? And then go to the middle and then go into the end, right? Yeah. And that's the other thing nice about these leather coats. You start wearing our sweaters. Put a sweater, sweater with a shirt or just a sweater. I think that's what lacked today. I had too much. That yellow is a little too outstanding. I needed like a nice like bluish sweater over it where the yellow complements and doesn't, like, I don't look like a big yellow checkerboard, right? Get a nice blue, not a baby blue or a royal blue, but in between, almost more of a teal blue sweater on, or that's like this, one of these blues. Yeah, I guess like one of the blues that's here, right? Pick if you want to pick out a sweater, you take the shirt that you're going to be wearing, the sweater over, or that you think you want to pair with, or if you buy it new, put the shirt in the sweater, put it underneath it, dress it in the store. Go to the store and put oh, I like this sweater. Let me see what shirt goes well with it. And buy the shirt there too. Buy a new one if you don't have one already in mind. Or if you do have a shirt that you already want to wear and you have in mind that you want a sweater for, take it to the store with you. No harm in doing that. I don't see too many people doing that, but I do it. I'll do that. If I'm like looking, if I have a shirt that, even for a tie, if I'm like, oh, I'm looking, mainly from the shirt, right? If I'm looking for a sweater to pair with that shirt, I'll take that to the store, and vice versa. And I'll take a sweater that I got. I don't have too many sweaters. I need more sweaters. You wear a light jacket or even this. You take it off, you're still nice and comfortable. You look nice and warm. And the other thing about sweaters is, with certain cashmere blends and certain blends, your loved one or your partner, you get it on yourself. You touch yourself, you're nice and soft. You're like a teddy bear. You're like a little softie, right? So you feel more comfortable, and you look comfortable, more casual, more comfortable, still very elegant. So yeah, that's what I needed still. Even right now with this underneath, I could still feel a little chill, even though I have a t-shirt, or put a t-shirt on, and the shirt. It's still a little chilly out here. We're getting into that, probably drop down to the low 40s right now, maybe. Thankfully, my hands aren't super cold. We're moving around in terms of me rocking, but I can feel it. We're getting ready to the halfway point. That band's gonna come off soon. Beautiful band. Maria Lucia. Look at that. Forgot the type of china ware that is indicative of that color. I think that's where they got it from. In Mexico, they also make tile in that colorway, and then the blue like that. But there is a certain china that has that, I forgot what it's called, that has that blue, and that's where he got the idea. His mother must have had that tea set or plate set that was of this color, right? And that's where he grabbed the design idea. Beautiful, beautiful. Love the flowers and the homage to his mother. Yeah, I'm glad that cumin is gone. Now it's that lathery earth with that like green, unripe plantain, right? You guys, go check it out. If you have an opportunity, try a ripe plantain, one that's a little sweeter, that's nice and yellow, and try a green one. Slice them up. You could fry it. You could also boil it or steam it, and then cut it up and grab a little taste of it. Yeah, both plantains go well with pork or beef. Chicken too. I like my plátanos more with the beef myself. That's just my preference. Or with pork even. I'm not a big plantain with chicken. If I do go with the chicken, I like the sweet plantain. And I don't like the plátano fried. I like it actually when it's boiled, right? Where it's soft and squishy, right? That's when I like the sweet plantain with my chicken at that instant. I like the sweet plantain for the most part. I rather even raw. Another thing that's like similar to green plantain but different is yucca. I highly recommend you trying yucca, because I'm thinking some of the cigars, like this cigar, might have that sort of like, if it isn't green plantain, because it isn't really sweet, it's that unripened, it's almost that earthy yucca taste, like it has yucca, or it's very earthy. Yucca's very earthy. It's like almost like a potato, but more stringy, right? It's more stringy, but has like a potato texture, but softer. And what's great about yucca is that yucca, besides being like rich in carbohydrates, tons of carbohydrates and protein, it, like broccoli, will absorb a lot of flavors. Anything you put with it, like broccoli, the yucca will absorb, because it's more of a stringy. So like broccoli, if you look at it, broccoli is pretty stringy, and yucca, like, yeah, you throw, put a sauce on yucca, it's going to absorb that sauce. It's going to be all that sauce. I like my yucca with bacalao, which is a salted cod. It's a dry salted cod meat that you reinvigorate with oil. You put some olive oil with it, some garlic in a pan, olive oil, garlic, the bacalao or the dried cod, right? You don't even need to add a stock. Here we go. Nice, came off very nicely, beautiful wrapper. I thought part of the wrapper came off with it, but I'm looking at the wrapper. Oh, it did. Yeah, part of the wrapper. This is a very thin wrapper. Very thin. And it did come off. But that's okay. So going back to the bacalao, which is, the dry salted cod. And a lot of Caribbean, very popular in the Caribbean. I think, as well as in Latin America, but very popular in the Caribbean, not just Puerto Ricans. I believe that Trinidad, Jamaica, Bahamas, I think they eat it. It's quite well known. And so you take some anejo or some garlic, some olive oil. You don't need the parsley or cilantro, but that could add a little nice to it. And you reinvigorate sort of the fish, like you add a little water, or like fish stock or chicken stock, right? Or just a little water. I think I haven't made it in so long. I didn't think I even used water. I think I just threw it on the pan and it let the oils sort of take to it with the garlic and butter, and that with the yucca, which is boiled. You boil the yucca, and the starch and the water from the yucca is going to help it. And you just put your, throw out your yucca, pour, spoon the bacalao over the yucca, sprinkle a little olive oil and salt over the yucca with the bacalao stuff. I love that dish. Might be too strong for a lot of people because it is a stronger fish. Remind you, it's a salted, dried out cod, right? So it's dried out. It's not been cooked, right? It just salted, so it's heavy in salt. So it's not everyone's taste. I love it. I love that shit. Different strokes, different tastes for different folks, people. Not even a lot of Puerto Ricans like bacalao, right? Not all Latinos, not even all people from the Caribbean. It's not their taste. They rather have the real nice fresh fish or even crustaceans. But some of us like the dried fish. The dried fish is fun. Some of us like the canned fish. I remember I used to really like sardines and anchovies. I could still do the anchovies. They just have to be done, prepared in the right way with the right things. Like anchovies topped with caviar on over creme fraiche on the right cracker. Ooh, man, it's so good with the right chip, right? That's another thing you guys can try because they have those plantain chips. So if you don't want to prepare a plantain, but you want to get an idea of what I'm talking about, they make various types of plantain chips now. Or banana chips. They're like banana chips, but they're not actually made of banana. Those are plantains, which is a type of banana. And there are a lot of types of bananas, guys. Like my favorite bananas aren't the big, dull bananas that you get at most of your shops. I like the little teenier ones that are like more common from like Ecuador, Nicaragua, Costa Rica. Those have a lot more flavor, right? They end up sweeter. They mature a lot faster in your home, so you have to eat them right away. And those are just, in my opinion, just have a lot more flavor for everything, whether you're juicing them, you're making a protein drink, or you're just eating them. I prefer the little banana, and you'll see those in your grocery store, and you'll know what I'm talking about. I prefer the little teenier banana. Those are the better ones, more flavorful, and I highly recommend those. Great with ice cream, or using, if you're cooking, making pastries, that's the banana you want to use. You don't want to use that, Dole, no offense to the ones from Florida or Hawaii, no offense to Hawaii. 808 Smoke, don't get angry at me. But let's see if there's anybody in the chat. Nobody still came. But if you made it this far, you are about better. The cigar is smoking rapidly. But yeah, there's not a lot to talk about this card at all. If anything, I want to say that Jillian Roberts is an overpriced favorite, right? She's got the experience, but this Luana is a beast. Luana Pinedo? Yeah, she lost against Angela Hill by sub, which that's why they're giving Jillian, but Angela was getting her on the feet, right? But that's why they're giving, and she lost to Ribas by TKO. But she's beat Michelle Watterson. She's beat Rampage Hughes. She beat Rhonda Marcos, who's another subspecialist and Canadian, right? So she's probably a live dog here in this instance. I'm not going to bet it. I'm not going to recommend it. I'm just going to avoid using Jillian Robertson in a parlay. I think she could have been a good potential future parlay with Kamzat and some of these other people. There were definitely people to put on, parlay with, but yeah, Ezekiel Dos Santos, Matthew Schmellensberger, Cody Stamen. Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of any of these fights. It's a card I'll miss anyways, but it's not a card that I'm like gonna feel bad that I missed it, right? I'm not gonna be like, oh man, I missed that card. Like the last card, I was working, and missed. I got home in time to see the main event, which I was happy to see. I was like, wow, I was just amazed. And I did tell people about Ilya Taporia, that hand speed that I'd never seen anybody develop, and it's more recent that his hands have even gotten better. Like I never saw anyone and he didn't even throw it at max, like the punch to elbow, like he didn't even use that technique at all. And when I saw Taporia doing it, and he was so fast, so quick at it, I was like, wow. I'm like, man, that dude, regardless of the wrestling and jiu-jitsu, just on that feet, his hand speed is just so fast. And it was definitely very evident, and as well as his ability to parry. So his defensive striking is just really, really good, just outstanding. And he was a shorter, smaller fighter, and Man, he schooled Holloway. He schooled Holloway. And then how badass was it, of course, when Tapuria pointed at the center right from the beginning. He even told Holloway, he's like, let's go, come on, let's go in the center. Let's go, come on. It was like, wanted to play the Matador. And I was like, you felt you played right into his strategy, Holloway. You know, you should have met him at the center from the get-go. I think Holloway should have engaged him in that crazy, go for broke there, right? Like, it's a championship fight, Holloway isn't known as that masterful Matador style anyways. It's not really his style. So I think Topuria, those mental games, that he's got that Conor McGregor swagger, right? It could be that he was probably, he's a spoiled rich kid, like Conor, and he's got that swag, he just has the, all of that confidence, but it's backed up by his actual skill, right? Mm. Yeah, very nice leather to earth. It does have that initial. It's a beefier cigar. This is not for the amateur. This is a good cigar. Like, you could smoke at a smoker, right? Because it has more of that. Like, you're gonna be, if you're a smoker, you're at a smoking event. There's gonna be a ton of smoke around, so its flavors are gonna stay there with you. And it's going to go well with the scotch or whatever you're drinking. If you're having a drink, it's going to go well with that. Strong peat. Now at the final third, that peat is very staunch. It's there. It's resounding. It's gonna, that's why, like, for a novice, they would not like the cigar. They're not gonna like that earthy peat quality. It's smooth because it has that nice leather earth, and then that strong peat. So it's not for the faint of heart. But as always, it's nice to have a cigar outdoors. The leaves are already off the trees for the most part. Really lots of leaves all over the place. Like, this would have been a couple weeks ago, but still would have been a good time to go up to Michigan. Probably all the leaves are down there. Michigan, Wisconsin, here in the Midwest. You just drive through the countryside and just look at all the beautiful greenery, beautiful trees everywhere. But we're definitely going to hop right into winter. And while I expect it to be cold, I think the snowfall we haven't had great snowfalls in years. Yes, there's snowfall, and it might snow a lot in one day, but it's not like, snowstorm like back in the day that would last like for 2 days. Like, it would snow constant for like 2 days. I don't think we're going to have that anymore, and I haven't seen it in years. I think you're going to see snow in places like where they had it in Georgia and they had cold in Texas. You're going to start seeing more of that in the wintertime in the South. You're going to start seeing that more than anything over here. Because we have the lake here. It helps us be a little more consistent. As always, guys, I'm very close to O'Hare Airport, so the planes are always coming above me, all the planes that I work on. Most of them, I'm in the United line. Most of the planes I see are in the going to the United terminal. Right, so there's a couple, 2 or 3 main runways that O'Hare utilizes, and I think I'm above the United one because 8 out of 10 of the planes that I see are United planes. I don't see as many American planes, which is the second largest air carrier that's at the O'Hare Airport first being united. Yeah, I gotta get some new gloves. I should have bought them. I gotta get the gloves. I was at Costco a couple weeks ago and they had plenty of them, and I should have just grabbed them there. And I'm gonna need them, so we're gonna grab some gloves. Might do that tomorrow. I got a few things that I gotta do tomorrow, but we're focusing right now, trying to focus. We can't focus. Ooh, it's coming apart a little bit. I bet that was from that area, that fissure. Yeah, look at that fissure. And it could be the temperature difference out here. Being outdoors, it's fattening up, right? So it got a little hotter here. I've been probably smoking a little quicker. It's at where the break was on that cigar, so it's unrelated. Sort of. It's just on a main vein. That vein there, I'm surprised. It looked good initially, but I'm surprised they put that as the wrapper. Right? I'm surprised it made it into the cigar, and I didn't even look at that or notice it before because the band was over it. So I don't like that. Yeah, that unripe banana. Unripe banana to that leather to peat. Not horrible. It's just not, again, I mentioned it's not my palate set. It's not what I like. And I like those three flavors. It's just they have to be balanced in a certain way that I'm going to enjoy it. And it's just, I'm enjoying it, but it's not like, it's still staying at the 7.5, guys. It's still staying at a 7.5. And I'm getting chilly. My legs are getting chilly. I admit that, even though I'm a hot-blooded man. Come on. Yeah, still no one, not one person in the chat. Oh, that's okay. If you've made it this far, I appreciate you commenting, like, subscribe. Appreciate the time that you've taken to listen to any of this. Let me know what your impression or what you guys think of this Maria Lucia cigar or any other cigars. Let me know what you guys might recommend, even in the comment section. I might check it out, right? Let's put up a link to your site if you guys do reviews, or just say, hey, put a link to your channel. I'll subscribe to everybody's channel. If you subscribe to my channel, I'll subscribe to yours. Tend to do that all the time. But yeah, let's get the community sort of, or let me enter your community or be part of your community, part of your cigar and MMA experience. I'll be happy to. Let me know when you guys go live. I'll like it, subscribe. I'll hit up the notification. Put a comment there. Hey, I'm going live in a little bit, and I'll go check you guys out. Yeah, that fissure is not really doing anything. It's still drawing really well. As I always say, don't lick it, don't fuck with it. It's not, let it sort of do its thing. You can't really prevent too much or do anything to mitigate it. So it's just better to let it be. It is stretching out a little bit. I could see it's tearing a little bit more. But by the time it will be an issue or non-issue, it's still smoking rather heavy. I think it's because the wrapper is really light. It's a very thin wrapper. That's why I think it doesn't have the flavor set that it should. It's not a thicker broadleaf. It probably doesn't stretch and be as malleable as it should be. All in all, for me, because I just don't like it was really well rolled, and I love the blend. Should be something that should resound to me, right? It should be definitively like something that I would really, really enjoy and would normally rate really high. And it isn't. So the good thing is I only bought one. So even though it's a limited edition cigar and it's well touted and people enjoy it, it's not me, and I'll let it be and buy other stuff I like. That's the beauty of cigars, people, and beers and everything else. There's always something out there that you're going to prefer than someone else, right? It's what you enjoy, what you like, especially with cigars, man. If it's a $5 cigar that you really, really enjoy, like what was the cigar one of my neighbors was smoking? A Maduro. He was smoking the La Perla. Was it La Perla del Mar? Yeah, La Perla del Mar, which is the pearl of the ocean. And I've had that cigar, and he was smoking it, and I'm like, oh, I know that cigar, and it it blew my socks off, but it's still a good cigar. You know, it isn't for me, right? Not all cigars I'm gonna want to get the box of. You know, no matter how limited it is, just because it's limited. Like with a lot of the Opus X cigars, I'm not going to buy those by the box unless I have a special occasion. And I'm still might not even buy it, right? The only reason I'd buy it is just to show off and give to friends, like, okay, you guys know are getting, I'm bringing the good, a box of the good stuff. I'm not like giving you something you're not going to recognize. You're going to know what it is, and you're going to appreciate it, and you're going to know that, it's like a wedding cigar, certain special wedding cigar, I should say. Because like I was mentioning, some of those cigars, for the price, I could buy 2, if not 3 cigars that I really enjoy for the same price of that Opus X. And not to say that I don't like Opus X, not to say that it's not a friggin', that all of them are not fantastic. It's just, it's gotten to the point financially, like if you're rich, if I'm rich, it fucking doesn't matter. I'll buy a box of every fucking Opus X they make from years past, and I'll have a box of them. I'll have them and keep them and smoke them, and and would I age cigars? Probably not. I would just buy the ones already aged and pay the extra money. Have a humidor with them, but that's just different. Yeah, I recently saw a video of Tristan Tate go to the duty free, and he did something smart, but not that smart. Like, he didn't buy any of the boxes. He bought a lot of the 5-packs, and he didn't buy the tubos, is what I think he should have done. It's like, if you go to the duty free and you buy those 5-packs, I recommend buying the tubos, which are a little more premium, right? They have a little more protection to them when you're traveling, right? Because you're going to be traveling if you're at the duty free. He bought the soft pack ones, and he didn't buy a lot of variations. He bought like the same. At that point, he just should have bought the box. If you're buying like 4 5-packs of Cohiba Esplendidos or Cohiba cigars, and they have a box of them there, a box of 20, then buy the box. Buy the box, because I think the ones that come in the box might be, and I could be wrong on this with Habanos, but from my experience, some of the ones that came in the box are more premium. Like, they're going to be better selected, have the better rollers in them, and they're going to marry each other better. They're going to be in a box press, so they're going to be better structured and better construction, in my opinion, because they have better rollers doing them. At that point, just buy the box. Like, why he bought, and I was confused at that. He was like, oh, cigars. And he bought them like a spoiled little brat. He didn't care. He spent $1,000 buying the 5-packs when he could have bought like a box of 20 of it, because he's buying the same cigar. Probably saved himself money and got better cigars, the better quality Cuban cigars. Paid like $700 to $800 for a box of them, rather than 5 of the plastic box. And there were tubos there, and he didn't buy the tubos. If you're gonna buy the 5-packs, buy the 5-packs and the tubos. That's another thing with what I like. Say, we were talking about Opus X and Fuente. If you could buy some from the boxes, right? But a good thing to do for traveling purposes as well as storing purposes, and they're still Opus X's, they make those he always makes a tin of 4. I believe it's like 4 or 5 cigars. He makes a tin, these like little cigar holders, and it has a nice cigar holder, so you can keep the cigar holder, right? And it's in a tin, it has a cello over it, right? And they're with the cellos inside, and it really like protects the cigar really well. Like you could travel with that. Like you're traveling with this box. If it rains, with the paper boxes, or they could get crushed in your clothes or bump into people. Like if you're traveling, why buy the paper box cigars? I don't get that. Especially if you have the money, where money is no object, buy the tubos. When you're traveling, or even if you go to duty free, buy the tubos, right? Those are the ones that you're gonna look at more than anything. If they got the tubos, like, oh shit, I'm gonna get the tubos. Even though they're gonna be more money. You're gonna spend at least $10 more, or $50 more for the 5, right? $10 more per cigar, just for the tube, right? But at that point, it's worth it because it protects it better, it ages better in that tube, and it travels better. So you could keep it throughout your trip. You could still have that cigar. So that's a big travel recommendation to me. Do not buy the ones in the paper boxes. If they have the tubos, buy the tubos. And then if you're buying the 5-packs, why buy 5-packs of the same cigar? Buy a 5-pack of the Upmans, a 5-pack of the Monte Cristos, and a 5-pack of the Cohibas. And you got 3 different blends. You got 3 different cigars. And a 5-pack of the fucking Partagas. It's a no-brainer. Or if it's the fucking Ramon Allones, you got a fucking Ramon Allones. Buy five different blends. 5 different cigars, different manufacturers, different blends. Why buy 5 of the same shit if you could just buy the box then? And then the box is better for traveling too. So something to him like, yeah. No, I'm older than the Tate brothers, so I've definitely smoked more cigars than them. And I not necessarily more Cuban cigars than them because they're rich, but possibly. I really never have been. I sold my Cuban, so I didn't smoke a lot of them, right? I'd always get a sampler of a Cuban cigar, and then I sold my Cuban cigars. So I would know about my Cuban cigars and knew about my blends, and would smoke a good amount of Cuban cigars, but I didn't smoke a lot of them, just priced out, because when I got them, I'd rather sell them. What are you gonna do? Like like don't get high on your own supply with drug dealers. I used to sell Cuban cigars. I didn't smoke Cuban cigars like nothing, like just always in the open. If I was in the area of my clients, always had a Cuban cigar. Always. If I know I'm going to be in an area or a place where my clients are going to be, I'm going to break out one of my Cuban cigars that I have in a humidor that I'm selling and that I'm holding. I'm going to break one of those out. And if I have to give it away, give it this cigar here, you take this one, right? And I was like, okay, I got a box. And I would just, even if I lose that $50, I charged enough for the box that I would be able to compensate, or my profit margin still was good. And a lot of my clients would actually return the favor to me quite often by giving me, hey, other Cuban cigars they got from other people. What do you think of this cigar? What do you think of these Cubans? Maybe because they're getting it from another buyer, wherever they're getting it from, their seller. They would, like, I didn't worry about, the most expensive thing in business is free. And I didn't mind giving one to get the business, right? Like, I'll give you that freebie occasionally, right? I'll give you that freebie occasionally. If they liked it, they liked, saw how it looked. Oh, I'm like, oh, here, look. If I was going to a smoking room where I knew some clients would potentially be, I had 2, like I always had cigars to give away. A couple to smoke and a couple to give away. Like I said, I think one of my other humidors, I'd walk around sometimes with a travel humidor with like 10 cigars. So I had like cigars that I knew that I was going to give away to clients to smoke, right? So I still had enough smokes for myself for me to smoke, me to actually give clients smoke, and me to give friend a smoke, right? And not all the Cubans. The Cubans were there for potential clients, right? And I would have those. I'd have extras. The variety is the spice of life, people. Unless you already know what you like. I know I like Boulevars, Cuban Boulevars. Big favorite of mine. I love Partagas. I love Monte Cristos. I'm actually not a big Cohiba guy. I'm more of a Monte Cristo and Simon Boulevars and Partagas. Out of those 3, probably more Boulevard, right? And here's H. Upman. H. Upman, fucking make great smokes, man. So, a lot of times I refrain from the duty-free Cubans. I think we're allowed to bring them in now, but just the price point is just so high. I just can't justify. Even the 5-packs are like $200, if not more, $230 for the 5-packs, right? So like you're paying an astronomical price for the cigars, right? Like it's just not worth it for me. It's just not worth it to spend that kind of money, like in that price range. It just isn't worth it for me. It's not that I'm a cheapskate. Like this apparently was like $13. And see how that Fisher burnt through? Just let it be. Let it be. Don't fuck with your cigars, guys. Don't fucking poke them. Don't stab them. People want to stab them to try to get them to smoke better. Don't lick it if it's canoeing bad. Just smoke it through. It's going to correct itself. No, the Fisher's still there. But it's going to correct itself. And I think it's that vein. That's that vein that was covered up. I wouldn't have put that one to production. And my cut was perfect. Big, like it didn't get the whole cap, but enough of the cap, right? And I still have the cap right here. You can still see it in the cutter, right? You see that? The cap is in there, right? And that's another tip for you guys, unless there's a necessity for you to enjoy or express your love for luxury, like this punch cutter my friend gave me. He should have kept it. I don't know why his mother gave it to him. Like maybe she found it or whatever, but he gave it to me, and it's actually a really nice cutter. And because it performs well. And these things are like maybe like $20, if that, for this Calibri punch and monogram. Yeah, it's a tool, and it's nice to have some of the fancier tools. Like I like my, Milwaukee's, DeWalt, even Makita, Bosch. Big fan of Bosch tools. But some of the other ones, if Ryobi is going to do the job, get the Ryobi. Right? If you get something from not Mac Tools, but if you get something from Harbor Freight, and the tool it's a tool. If it does the job, then you're good, right? So something with accessories, even the lighters, like this lighter I thought was garbage, and now it's actually like my staple. I like have to have this fucking thing, and it's a great lighter and I have like Dunhill lighters. I have an ST DuPont lighter, and I use this thing now, and you don't have to spend that kind of crazy money. You could get one of these torch lighters. You get a torch lighter now for like $20 that works fantastic. This thing is probably less than that, right? Yeah, that Fisher's there, and you could see the wrapper, right? The little crack that's still not really harming it at all. It's a shame I do these and still not one person in the chat. But it is what it is. Like I said, I appreciate you guys taking the time. Right? Anybody that would stay here in the chat listening to me rambling, talking to myself essentially. Ooh. You're going to hear that. The fall there. Snap that thing off. Still working, yeah. I like seeing the delay on the camera on the YouTube. Here at the nub, guys, little more oil, not much. Still that strong peat leather, same notes. Smooth though, a lot more oil at the nub, a lot more oil, and I like that. If it had that oil at the start, this thing would have been a lot better rated cigar. And again, I don't know if aging would help that at all. You know, it's supposedly already a very premium cigar. That peat is there, but it's smoother. It's a lot softer on the finish here. It's a lot softer. So now I'm getting what the cigar, like it's more refined right now. If this cigar started or in the middle was what it is now, it would have a definitely must buy. But it just doesn't smoke fluid. It doesn't have the continuity that I want. It has a nice full draw, good construction. The peat with oil on the finish now. That's nice. See, I like that. It just didn't have it soon enough. Didn't have it at the right time. So it is what it is, people. That's why we do this. That's why we smoke cigars to enjoy it. I still enjoyed it. You know, I mean, I'm not going to recommend it. I'm not going to rage about it, and I'm not going to put it down. If I hear that my cigar guy recommending it to somebody, he recommended it to me, I'm not going to say, hey, I didn't, that was horrible. I'm like, they not always hits, right? You're not, even the last brand, I didn't like the last review I did. It wasn't like a knock your sock off. You know, it wasn't in the 9 club. It wasn't even an 8. It was in an 8 range, right? This one's just going to be a 7.5, which is above average. It's just not in that elite, but it is, limited production, limited editions should be elite. It should have certain characteristics that appeal to a refined someone like myself, like this smokes a lot. But this one doesn't have it, but that's okay. And the blend, reading about the blend, I'm shocked. And I think maybe that Connecticut broadleaf is just isn't impactful enough. And the binders, the Sumatran thing is probably what's giving it the peat, which I like. And I think all the things that I like about the cigar are probably in that Sumatran binder, which I'm hopeful for the Nomad cigars I get that are from Sumatra, because I like that tobacco. Right, so I'm sort of always leaning, like I've just learned I'm leaning, like my taste lean towards certain leaves, like the Mexican San Andreas is a no-brainer for me. Like one of the Cameroon wrapper, no-brainer for me. It's Sumatran for me, always hits with me, right? Always find elements and flavors that I enjoy with those leaves, right? And that's just my preference, and yeah. Very smooth, excellent aromas, very good burn. Anytime you get to a nub, it has that more Cuban flakiness to it. Some more of that Cuban characteristic, because it was a Habano seed, so it has some Cuban seed to it. So that was the review. Luciano Cigar, Luciano Maria Lucia Cigar from Luciano. If you made it this far, you are about better. Again, I always appreciate you people coming in. Please comment, like, and subscribe. It's crazy. I have as many videos as I have subscribers. And that says something about my willingness for pain. My willingness to do this, despite not having an audience, I still am willing to do it. I do it for the love. I do it for the enjoyment. I'm out here going to smoke the cigar anyways, and this is the best way to enjoy a cigar, especially in the evening like this. I don't know if I could just stand here and just like browse the internet and smoke a cigar without any purpose other than, so it's nice to actually smoke. And even though I'm talking to myself, hopefully there is somebody out there that does enjoy the content. And if you do, please comment, like, and subscribe. You could share it. I don't think anybody really wants to share this, but if you've made it this far, you are about better. Please gamble responsibly. If you have any ideas about content, if you have any ideas of cigars, possibly a cigar for me to try, or a libation that I could find to try. Other than spirits, I don't do any spirit sort of reviews here. Once in a while, I would do it. I think I did like a couple of them here and there. But let me know in the comments section. Again, thank you very much for anyone that's made it this far. And if you've made it this far, you